The summer of 1988 in Pine Hollow was as ordinary as ever for 12-year-old Tommy Lark. Long days were spent riding bikes with friends, skipping stones by the creek, and exploring the endless fields of corn that surrounded the small rural town. But everything changed the day a new boy appeared in town, oddly out of place and far too interested in Tommy. It started on a Tuesday. Tommy was tossing a baseball against the side of the barn when he noticed someone watching him from the edge of the cornfield. It was a boy, maybe his age, with pale skin and short-cropped hair, wearing a plain blue shirt and stiff jeans. The boy stood motionless, staring at Tommy with an intensity that sent shivers up his spine. "Hey, you lost or something?" Tommy called. The boy didn't respond. After a moment, he turned and walked back into the corn without a word. Tommy shrugged it off at first. Pine Hollow occasionally got drifters passing through, and maybe the kid was just shy. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the stranger. That night, Tommy biked to the old grain mill to meet his best friend, Jack. The mill was their usual spot for ghost stories and daring each other to climb the rusting machinery. But Jack never showed. As Tommy waited, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the shadows. At first he thought it was Jack playing a prank, but then the boy from the cornfield emerged, his face expressionless. "You are Tommy Lark," the boy said in a flat, mechanical voice. "Elimination required." Tommy's heart raced. "What? What are you talking about?" Without warning, the boy lunged. Tommy barely dodged in time, stumbling backward as the stranger's hand smashed into the wooden beam where Tommy had been standing. The beam splintered like it had been hit by a sledgehammer. Panicked, Tommy grabbed a loose pipe and swung it. The pipe connected with the boy's shoulder, and to Tommy's horror, sparks flew. A chunk of the boy's shirt tore away, revealing gleaming metal underneath. He wasn't a boy at all. He was something else. Tommy dropped the pipe and ran. He didn't stop until he reached his house, panting and shaking. The next morning, Tommy tried to tell his parents, "There's this kid. He's not a kid. He's a machine or something. He tried to kill me." His mom sighed, handing him a plate of scrambled eggs. "Tommy, you've been watching too much TV." "I'm serious. He's out there. He's after me." His dad glanced up from the newspaper. "Probably just some kid playing rough. If it happens again, let me know, and I'll talk to his parents." Tommy knew they wouldn't understand. Even Jack, when Tommy told him, just laughed. "A killer robot? Come on, Tommy. You're just trying to scare me." But Tommy knew the truth, and he knew he was on his own. Over the next 3 days, the cyborg attacked again and again. Once at the creek, it cornered Tommy and tried to grab him, its movements unnervingly precise. Tommy managed to knock it into the water with a heavy branch, but it climbed out moments later, its metal parts glinting beneath its torn disguise. Another time, it ambushed him in the woods while he was walking home. Tommy led it through a patch of brambles, hoping to slow it down, but the thorns didn't seem to bother it. If anything, it seemed tireless, like it could chase him forever. Tommy set traps, threw rocks, and even tried hiding in his neighbor's hayloft. Nothing worked. The machine just kept coming, and every time it got closer. Desperate, Tommy realized he needed to outsmart the cyborg. He knew it was stronger and faster, but it wasn't human. Maybe it didn't understand the dangers of the old railroad bridge. The bridge spanned the Pine River, a deep, fast-moving stretch of water surrounded by jagged rocks. Everyone in town knew it was unsafe. Its planks were rotted, and the rusted iron supports groaned under the weight of even a single person. Tommy biked to the bridge as the sun set, knowing the cyborg wouldn't be far behind. Sure enough, he heard its heavy footsteps approaching minutes later. He stood in the middle of the bridge, facing the machine as it emerged from the shadows. "You can't catch me," Tommy yelled, waving his arms. "Come on, you tin can." The cyborg's red eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Without hesitation, it stepped onto the bridge, moving toward Tommy with mechanical precision. Tommy backed away slowly, making sure to keep his weight light on the rotting planks. When he reached the center of the bridge, he stopped, standing on a section he knew was barely holding together. "Come on!" he shouted again. "Right here!" The cyborg stepped onto the weak section of the bridge. With a loud crack, the planks gave way. The machine's heavy body plunged into the river below, crashing into the water with a massive splash. Tommy ran to the edge and looked down. The cyborg flailed for a moment, but its weight dragged it down into the murky depths. Its red eyes flickered out as it sank, vanishing into the dark water. Tommy never saw the cyborg again. He didn't tell anyone what had happened. He knew they wouldn't believe him. Life in Pine Hollow returned to normal, but Tommy couldn't shake the memory of the glowing eyes and the metallic hum that haunted his dreams. Sometimes, when he stood by the river, he thought he heard something faint beneath the surface. But he told himself it was just the current. Deep down, he wondered if the cyborg was really gone, or if it was waiting, somewhere in the darkness, for another chance.